welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I am but one of your humble hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Mock.
And welcome to really the best way that you can spend your half hour. And today is a great show for us because we are on multiple media stations, if you will, for this show. If you're a listener to us on WFLM 1047 The Flame, you know that we come to you every Sunday at 10 a.m. But today we are actually in the studio, the WLX, the St. Lucie Education Channel studio, filming our show for TV, if you will.
I feel like it makes us a little more professional when we're here for that.
Because I have a sport coat on. But if you're a long-time listener, you know exactly what this show is about. If you're a first-time viewer or listener, just real quick, the Children's Services Council, we provide resources and programs to support and build strong families in St. Lucie County. Currently, we fund about 50 programs that reached over 30,000 kids last year, and we utilize this show to connect you, the listeners, and the viewers, to resources that you or your family or a neighbor or a coworker or a congregation member can use, as well as talk about fun things that are happening in the community.
We like fun things too. But Sean mentioned there's about 50 programs that we're working with here locally in St. Lucie County, and there's a couple different ways where you can find out more information about them. The easiest is on our website, which is cscslc.org. We've got a brief description of each one of those funded programs, as well as contact information for you to get in touch with them if it's something that you might need. We also have a family guide. Look, you've been brought.
I brought it with me.
I like it.
Look at that.
We have a family guide that's basically a printed version of what is available on our website. It includes the brief description and the program phone number. But we have another interesting way to get in touch with our programs, and that is through our mobile app. We have a free app that is available on both the Apple and the Android platforms. You can download it to your phone, and it really gives you one-touch access to that program. So while you're scrolling through, if you see something that maybe you're interested in, you can dial that program right from your phone and really connect right away.
It's very exciting, and it's great. We talk all the time about, if your child's not in an after-school program, make sure they get in an after-school program. If you're a new parent and you need some support, what greater way? How easy can we make it? And then just pull out your smartphone, click a couple times, call, go visit, maps you right to where you need to go. And the whole idea is to make sure that people are well aware of the resources that are available to them.
And too, as you mentioned, maybe it's not you that needs one of these programs, but maybe you're having a conversation with a coworker who mentions that she's looking for an after-school program for her child. This is an easy way for you to pull out your phone, pull the resource up, and get her the information that she needs right there. A lot of times that disconnect, which is I think something we're going to talk a little bit about today, that disconnect between the referral and actually making contact with the program is where we kind of maybe miss some families. So really, making these connections, making it simple, making it an easy way to get the information is why we've got all these different ways.
And you just hit why we call this Community Connections.
That's
about
right.
Connecting. All right, and another way that you can get a hold of us or learn about programs and things that are happening is on our Facebook page.
We love Facebook.
We're big. Yeah, I'm all right with Facebook. we're on Facebook. We have a strong presence there. We post nearly every day updates, things that are happening. So if you're on Facebook, look up Children's Services Council St. Lucie County. Come like our page. We have a lot of people that like our page, and we post on there. And you can also interact with us. We have a lot of people that may, message us saying, "Hey, I have this issue," and we respond 24 hours a day, pretty much.
Yeah, we do. And in addition to that, Sean, I'm gonna throw your number out there because you skipped over that part, which is my favorite thing.
Then can I throw your number out?
No. But we do, in that same regard, we like for this show to be your show. We put all this information out there so that our community is connected. And if there are questions or concerns, or if you have a topic that you'd like to see us discuss, you can always get to us through Sean's cell phone, which you can call or text at 237-1130. And we'll make sure we do get questions and comments from time to time that we respond to. So it's a great way to get connected to us.
So make sure you text again, write it down, 772-237-1130. I'd hold up my phone, but I had to put it over there so it wouldn't go off. Let's see. Let's jump to some couple of tips and some things that are happening that people need to be well aware of. Do you want to start with the concert?
Sure, I'd love to. We've talked a little bit about it on the radio show in past episodes, but we've got our 5th annual Sounds of the Season holiday concert, which we're really excited about. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to showcase the talented youth that participate in our after-school programs. This year we've got 4 groups that are performing: the Avenue D Boys and Girls Choirs, Boys and Girls Clubs from 2 different clubhouses. The YMCA is going to do a special presentation for us, as well as the musicians from Future Generations. So all in all, we've got about 100 kids who are going to be performing that evening. It is Friday, December 18th at 7 p.m. at the Sunrise Theater, and tickets are going quickly. So I would encourage anyone who's interested to get a hold of your tickets soon. They are available at 3 different locations: our Children's Services Council office in St. Lucie West, the WFLM studio on US 1, as well as the Sunrise Theater box office. And they do go quick. We typically are out of tickets about a week before the show, so I anticipate them being gone in just a few days.
Which is really soon, right around the corner,
yes.
December 18th. And the tickets are free.
Free.
If we mentioned
Did I say
that.
that?
They
Free.
are free. If not, they are free. Although we ask is that if you attend to bring an unwrapped toy. We have 2 organizations that will be utilizing those donations to support children who maybe don't have as much as others in the community over Christmas. And those 2 organizations are the Fort Pierce PAL, Police Athletic League, and the First Step initiative that is happening through the Van Duzer Foundation. So by all means, come out, support these kids. You know, I always say, first of all, this week, the week of December 18th, it culminates, that's finals weeks for a lot of kids.
Right.
So, they're going to need a de-stressor. So bring yourselves, bring your family, come enjoy, support. We've got 100 kids that have practiced all year round and are going to get onto the stage of the historic Sunrise Theater, which is huge. Ashley and I are going to be hosting.
Yeah. We get nervous.
And this is Ashley's first time hosting,
I
and she doesn't
know.
realize is that this is her first time, so she has to sing. So she's nervous. But imagine these kids that have been practicing, and we want the community to come out to support not only those kids, but really a kind of a stand, if you will, for all kids in the community.
Right, and it really is a great time. We have so much fun every year that we do it, and the kids are just really talented and wonderful performers. So we hope that you'll join us.
And Ashley may or may not sing a song. All right, so the other thing that we want to do or announce is, when we go out and about in the community, we have a lot of people that have ideas for programs. Particularly a lot of faith-based organizations say, oh, I'd like to do this in the summer. We at the Children's Services Council, we provide programs, and the way that we determine those programs is we do an application process. So we have just released, it's on our website, again, which is cscslc.org, we have released our summer application. So if you're interested in starting and running a program to work with kids in the summer, by all means, go online, check out the application. It's out now. It's due on February 5th. You may say, Sean, it's not even 2016 yet. It's not even the new year. We're still in the winter. Why are you releasing? Why are we talking about summer already?
Right.
But we want organizations that are interested to have enough time to plan. Now, our summer application, it's not just fun and games for the kids. We do want some type of literacy component if you're working with younger kids, or some type of vocational or career exploration if you're working with teenagers. But if that is something that you're interested in, if you're a nonprofit organization or somebody that wants to serve kids, by all means, go to the website, check out the application. Again, it's a competitive process, but we want everyone that wants to help kids to apply so that children can have as many options as possible.
And as Sean mentioned, it's all available on the website. They're due February 5th. We'll make a decision pretty quickly. We have
March.
a pretty quick turnaround there. So we have funds available now, which is something that people come ask us all the time, but now is the time. So it's a really great opportunity to get into the community if you've got a program to serve.
So any other quick updates we want to give? After school programs, if your child's not enrolled in an after school program, download the app, pull down the directory, make sure that your child's engaged.
Put me on the spot there.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. All right, do you want to introduce our guest who's waiting
I would
patiently?
love to.
Very patiently. He wanted to start singing,
Oh, yeah.
but I said, no, Will, wait.
Yeah.
There'll be a time for that.
I could see that being part of his show presence here. But no, we're really excited to have our guest with us today. And it's a program that I feel like we talk about pretty frequently. A lot of times when we get phone calls into the office or we get messages
Facebook
on
messages.
Facebook, the people who are reaching out to us are families who are in a crisis. They are they are dealing with something that was unplanned, that they're having a hard time handling, and they're looking for resources to help them. And more often than not, the program that we refer them to is Will's program. So we've got Will Malone with us today from Supporting Families in Crisis, which is a program that's run through Hibiscus Children's Center. And Will has been doing this for how long now?
With Supporting Families in Crisis, I've been with them for 15 years, and with the agency in a whole 20 years.
Wow. Okay, so just a few years.
So Will is a huge Mets fan. So let's put that in Mets. So he was here when they were good, and then he was here when they were bad, and now he's here when they're good again.
Yes.
There we go.
And people don't need to go to spring training because I can't get tickets when they're good.
So, supporting families in crisis is kind of self-explanatory. We talked a little bit about kind of what that means, but give everybody kind of a rundown of the program basics of how you guys work and what you do.
Okay. Basically, what we are is a child abuse prevention program. And our job is to help, like you said, a family that's in a crisis. And it could be 1,001 different things. It could be they're behind in the rent and they're about to be evicted. Their utilities are about to be shut off. The children have mental health issues and their behaviors are just getting the parents at their wits' end. Our job is to go in, assess the family's needs, and try to find what they need, what we can do, and to prevent any abuse. Because when a family's at a high level of stress, the poor kids are the ones that usually suffer, and they can either be neglected or abused. So we go in and we do an assessment with the family, and we find out their basic family history, what their current situation is. Excuse me. If they're, let's use the example, if they're about to have their power cut off. So they're about to have their power cut off, and then they start worrying, okay, it's starting to get a little cold out, at least for Florida people. You know, my kids are going to be cold, my food's going to go bad, what am I going to do? Is DCF going to come and take my kids? And they start getting stressed, the kids start acting out because they're feeding off of that stress. So we go in and we work with the family. We'll look at their budget, see what we can do. If we can, we will help them financially a little bit to get that utility bill paid. We will work with them to work out a payment plan with the utility company, hook them up to local food banks if by some chance their power was cut off and the food did go bad so nobody goes hungry. And, you know, to try to alleviate that stress, we'll work on with them. We're budgeting on that. What I like about my program is there's 1,001 things we can do with a family. We're not set in stone that it's only one thing. Our job is to make sure that those kids are safe and the family's able to function and move on from it, learn from the crisis, and hopefully it doesn't happen again.
And I want to, you stated that ultimately the goal is to prevent child abuse because obviously when the family's stressed, you know, everyone's been stressed, and a lot of times when you're stressed, you make bad decisions, and that could lead to abuse or neglect. But I want to make sure that all of our viewers and listeners realize that or understand that it's not just child. I mean, you don't have to call when you think you're going to abuse your child. It's for, I mean, that's kind of the category it's under, but it's really for any family that's in crisis.
Absolutely. As long as they have a child in the house from 0 to 17, we can work with them. I've just worked with a single mom right now who, she was homeless. We were able to help her get into affordable housing. Still didn't have employment. She's never worked before, didn't know how to fill out an application, didn't know how to even write a resume. So we kind of worked with her a little bit of how to write up a resume of some of her strengths right now. Taught her on a fake application, how do you fill one out. Well, she went to that local job fair that was at the auto dealer last month.
The one that we've been promoting for a while.
She went, and now she's working at Macy's. You know, never worked before, but just working on those little things because it was stressful for her. How, you know, I'm finally not homeless. How am I going to maintain this house now? I've never worked. I don't know how to do anything, and just working with them and showing them these little steps, and then, you know, she's working and doing great right now. So it can be anything. It doesn't have to be. Like you said, you know, I'm at my wit's end and I'm going to hurt my kids. It's even seeing something in the future that may go, I need help with this. I mean, we'll work with families with doing their applications for their public assistance because anybody knows who's done one of those applications, that could run, you know, that runs me ragged, you know.
Well, and I don't want to interrupt you, but what I wanted to say was what I love about your program is that your staff is identified as family advocates.
Yes.
So I think that really kind of speaks to what your role is, because it doesn't matter what kind of family is coming to you, what situation that they're in, you're advocating to get them to a better place.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
and really, you know, in all these different scenarios that you've mentioned, what you've talked about doing is kind of holding their hand through the process. So it's not that you're going in and doing it for them. You're teaching them how to do it, how to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key because, well, one of our requirements with your grant is 95% of not having 1 year after being in a crisis, not to have an allegation of abuse and neglect. And this year, we're a little off this year. I think we're at 99% success rate as opposed to 100.
What is
but,
happening?
I apologize.
That's great. So, and I think it's important, you know, and you kind of touched upon it, you know, and I hear this a lot when, you know, it's hard to ask for help. You know, if you've never been in a crisis before, sometimes you don't know who to turn to or what to even ask for. But if you do get to the point where you're asking for help or somebody is working with you, it's great to call Will and his program, Strengthening Families in Crisis, because they kind of navigate the system for them.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you know, hey, I need help. Well, you know, there's no one issue that's simple. It's always very complex. So you have to know, for example, I need to call the housing for affordable housing, but then maybe I need to call the schools, and maybe I need to call this entity and that entity. You help navigate that for them.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of our job is finding the right service for the family because, I mean, there's a lot out there and it can get very confusing, you know. So, yeah, we guide them. That little guidebook is my little Bible and all that, and my.
We need to get you
and
the app, sir.
Oh, I have the app. I was there the first time it was started, so I have that on my phone and use that constantly and all that, just to show them it's something as simple as going, you know, they need childcare, or if they're going to start working now. With that lady mother I was working with, so now she doesn't have that great of family support, so now we got to find childcare. So we were able to go through ELC, get the child in during on a VPK program so she can go to work. It's little things like that that prohibit families from being able to get out of that crisis. Is something as simple as, now great, I got a job, but now who's going to watch my kid?
So really, and if you think about it, we utilize this show to connect people to resources. He is the walking, talking show.
Maybe it should be Will's show.
Right, but he does it every day with families every single day.
Well, and I think that it's important to note too that, you know, Sean talked about how sometimes those systems are difficult to navigate, or it's multiple systems that you kind of have to have your hands in. But with the 15 plus years of experience that you have, you know, that's something that I think is great about this community, is that I'm sure that it's much easier for you to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm dealing with someone that's got this concern, than for a family to try to come in and figure out who it is they need to make that phone call to.
Oh no, it definitely is. You know, you get to know a lot of people throughout the years, but I really want the family to learn how to do this. So when I make those calls, a lot of times I'm there with them to see how you talk to them. This is the service that you need. Try to explain it, because you may just get a phone call. Somebody could be calling the ELC and going, I need childcare. Okay, great. So there's a lot of people.
Right.
It's just saying, here's my situation, and then to figure out how do I go about this? What do I need to do? Because there is, unfortunately, sometimes to get to the straight line, you have to make a bunch of turns to get to that one spot. So it can get very difficult.
Well, I'm kind of embarrassed we've gone this far in the show. We haven't asked you for your number, because if somebody's listening, they know a family that maybe is struggling with rent or behavioral issues with their child, and they can make one call to your program. What's that call? Or what's that number?
That number would be 772-340-5044, extension 422.
And we should note that Will is obviously out in the field quite a bit, so it is likely that you'll have to leave a message at that number, but
Yes.
I promise you from experience that he returns those calls quickly.
Yes, and I'd be remiss without mentioning my partner, Jackie Lindgren. It's just the two of us working in St. Lucie County right now. If a family calls us, we will get back to you within 24 hours. Even if it's a weekend call, we're on call, we will call you and try to at least calm the situation down until we're able to get out there.
Yes,
So
good point.
we want to add again, if you know a family or if you are a family in crisis, sometimes the hardest step, the hardest step is making that first call. Again, it's 772-340-5044, extension 422, or you can go obviously to our website. We have that program on there. But if you know a family that's struggling and needs help navigating the system and or just needs help, period, this is the call to make. And now, okay, so it's the holidays. This is our holiday show. I don't know if you can see, I think there's a tree behind us.
We're very festive.
This is the holiday show. Now, it's going to run into January, so, it's the New Year show as well. But what are some of the holiday stressors that maybe you've experienced with families that maybe people need to be aware of?
The biggest thing is, will I have gifts for my children? Do I pay my rent or do I put gifts under the tree? The utilities, am I going to be able to get a holiday meal? My kids are home during Christmas break, which is the reason for my gray hair. Who's going to watch my kids while I go to work? Because they have 10, 12, 13 days off and they need somebody to watch. And these stressors can really cause a lot of havoc in a household and all that. And, so we will definitely work with them with that. We've been blessed with the community with a lot of donations. So we have this one gentleman, as long as I've been with the program, he comes every year and donates at Thanksgiving and Christmas turkeys for the families and all that. So we get that out to our families because they want to have, at least have one nice little family meal around and all that and all that. So we're able to do that. We get a lot of donations for gifts, so we're helping our clients with that. So, because a kid will, I've learned with my daughter and all that, they won't remember what they got for a gift last year, but they'll remember the year they didn't get something under that tree.
Right.
So even if it's one or two gifts, just so they have something, will make a big difference. We've had so many parents who are in tears because we've come with just a couple of simple gifts, nothing, no Xbox or anything like that, and just happy that they don't have to look at their kids and go, I failed you this year, and make them miserable. So, there's a lot of, the holidays, as much as it's a fun time, can be really a lot of stress on a family.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Very true. And I know one of the things that we've talked about on past shows too, and you kind of mentioned if families are dealing with mental illness or something like that, family comes in from out of town, there's a lot more happening in your house. Sometimes that's hard for kids to deal with. I think we've said before on the show that we sometimes don't feel like we need to explain things to our kids, but they really understand a lot more than we give them credit for.
Absolutely.
So the kids are kind of internalizing that stress too, which, is causing them to act out, causing some behavior problems. So there's really, all kinds of ways that the stress of the holidays can affect families and kids.
Absolutely. It's as much as it is a great time, it also is. I know I've sat at right after my daughter opens the present going, oh, thank God it's over. You know what I mean? As much as I love being with my family, it's like, okay, it's nice.
All done.
You all can go now, and we'll see you soon, next year. But yeah, it is really stressful, and hopefully, we're able to help alleviate that stress, and then find them the services, if we're not able to do it, that helps that, so that the following year it's a little bit better. And because we want everybody to be self-reliant. Every once in a while we stumble and fall, but if you're able to start learning how to process, okay, what do I do now? It just makes life so much easier for you as an adult and for your kids, because they do. They feed off that stress, and if you don't think they do, then you're sadly mistaken.
So I know we're winding down our time here, but I know you've kind of mentioned them through our conversation, but do you have any really poignant success stories that you can share with us about a family that's, been able to really make a difference?
The lady I was just talking about, that one, that just happened recently. I was really proud of that one. Just to see the self-esteem in her face to say, I have a job. And with that also, with the success with that story is that we've had a couple of calls the last 2 weeks from some families, and they've all said that this client told them to call because they helped me and they'll be able to help you. And the nice thing about it is if we're not able to provide the service, we will find a service for you. Even if you don't qualify for our services, we're still finding a referral for you. We don't hang up the phone without hoping that we at least help that person a little bit.
That's awesome.
So again, we want to give that number out again. If you know a family, and do you take, let me ask in regards to referrals, does it have to be the family that calls, or can somebody call on behalf of the family?
Well, I mean, somebody can call on behalf of the family. We'll guide them what they need to do, but that family member needs to, the client actually needs to call, because we have to do a intake over the phone. Get some general information about them and their children and all that, so we can have our stats for your quarterly reports. One, but also because sometimes with just two of us work in this big county, we sometimes run a little bit of a wait list. So we at least have that on file, and then so the family initially really needs to call, but anybody can call and ask, what can you do for this family, and we'll tell them what we can do.
So we got a couple of minutes, and again, we want to give out the number. It's for Strengthening Families in Crisis through Hibiscus Children's Center. So if any family is in a stressful situation where you think that it's affecting your parenting or the health and well-being of your child, or if really, honestly, you define the stress. If it's stressful, call. They can provide help. They can connect you with the resources that are available in the community to get you through that crisis and build, as you said, a resilient future moving forward. That number is 772-340-5044, extension 422. Again, if you're driving or if you missed it again, you can go to our website. We have cscslc.org. We have this program as well as all the others listed. Just in like 30 seconds or so, just so that because we're encouraging families to call if they're in a crisis. We know that they may or may not leave a message. So what's the general process? So let's say they leave a message.
If they leave a message saying, can you please call us back, within 24 hours, either me or Jackie will call them back. We'll do the intake, which, like I said, is general information. Then we will give them referrals to start the process if they're on a wait list. And then we have to run a background check with DCF because we're a child abuse prevention program. Once that comes back and their name comes up on the wait list, we go out, do an assessment, and then let all the work begin.
And you go to them. You don't have some.
We go to their house. They don't have to come to us. We're always going to them.
Good. And again, we have so many resources in the community to help families, and a lot of times, and we hear it all the time, why we do this show, it's why Will's program exists. We hear all the time that people don't know what resources are out there, and typically you don't ever think about them until you need them right at that moment, and then you don't know who to call. Well, we got that figured out. That's why we do the Supporting Families in Crisis program. Again, I keep giving this number out, but I feel like it's so important. It's 772-340-5044, extension 422. Again, if you know any family that's struggling, or you yourself are having a crisis and you just need help and you need some support in the community, you can call all the different places, or you can connect with Will and Jackie, and they'll help you through it and empower you to do it.
Absolutely.
I like that word. That was a good one.
Empower?
Yeah.
All right. We're winding down. Thank you, Will, so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
If you're a long-time listener, you know we have Will on at least twice a year, so thank you.
And we always tease him about the Mets. So.
Yes. Well, we can't tease him this year
I know.
because it was a good year. It was a good year.
It was okay.
All right, we're winding down. Anything?
No, just that we hope to see everybody at the holiday concert on December 18th, and we'll be out there hanging out. So come see us.
All right, come see us. Bring a toy. On behalf of all of us, happy holidays and a great new year for you radio listeners. We'll be on next week. Thanks, everybody. Remember, it's our children, our community, our future. We're all in this together. We'll see you next time.